Welcome to Season 2 of the Be Conscious podcast.
Welcome to the Be Conscious podcast, the show that brings you enlightened perspectives on the frequency of money, life's many challenges, and those heavy feelings that may be holding you back from living your best life. And now your host, Dr. Susan Nicholas.
I'm happy to be returning to podcasting after a break in January. I lost my mother in January, and this episode is dedicated to her. This is dedicated to Dr. Doris Nicholas. Mom was married to my dad for 43 years. For both of them, it was their second marriage, and she raised me and my brothers to the best of her abilities, and I'm so grateful for that. And today we're going to talk about money consciousness, and it's for two reasons. I'm dedicating this particular topic and episode to Mom because a couple of years back, my son interviewed Mom for a school project. And one of the questions that my son asked or was required to ask was if there was something that she wished she had learned in childhood, what would it be if there was something different that could have occurred? And she said to him that she wished she knew more about money. And I was just very struck by that because I've really dedicated my life to really elevating the frequency of money for people, to overcoming their struggles and inner feelings about money to reclaim their self-worth. And I guess I hadn't thought about it, but, my mom was born in 1947, just at the end of World War II, and that was a very dense period on the planet. There was a lot of hunger, a lot of strife, a lot of difficulty around the world. And of course, I don't know if anyone was immune to it. And I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful to free people from this struggle around money? Because if you've ever noticed someone that was, let's say, born during a world crisis like a world war or a famine or any other type of difficulty on the planet, those feelings around resources, around money, carry throughout their lives. Like they don't let it go. They still have that penny pinching mentality or behavior, even if their circumstances change remarkably or tremendously throughout their life. They'll still hold on to it. And I really believe that there's an energy in that. That memories, those experiences from a different time in life carry over, because not only do we have memories, but we have a soul memory. There's an energy of it within us that we carry over, and it plays out over and over and over again in all of our life situations. Now, when I talk about money, I'm not talking about empty riches or just material things. Now, I don't want to make the accrual of physical things of your desire, objects of your desire, to be right or wrong or good or bad. But this is more. It's so much more than that. It's something I call the continuum of wealth. It's about your ideas, about connections, about creations, your thoughts, your passions, your purpose, health, relationships, the fulfillment of all of your desires, really living a life that you love, all of it, encompassing all of it. You see, because this energy of money, it encompasses all of it. It's about our connections and purpose, our ideas. It's more than just physical dollars and cents. And, I say physical dollars and cents are just one component of this broad continuum of wealth. So when we get our money right, it's not just money that will come to us or swelling of our bank accounts, but it's that vibrancy of our health. It's the beauty of our relationships, the strength of those relationships, the ideas that come to us, finally living in our purpose, finally creating a life that we love, all of it. Now, and this is also very timely because just 2 days ago, on February 1st, my TED Talk was released on TED.com on money consciousness, overcoming generational poverty. So really doing this episode about mom, about wishing she had known more about money, and about, this idea of money having its own unique consciousness, money being a form of energy, and that sometimes what is in need of transformation around our money are our thoughts, our beliefs, our language about money, these energetic feelings that we hold in us from our past experiences with money. I think this is a perfect time to really delve into this topic. Now, if you haven't yet heard my TED Talk, I encourage you to search Money Consciousness, Overcoming Generational Poverty on YouTube channel. And one of the things I talked about on my journey about money is in my family, there was an unspeakableness about money. And that's because there was an element of shame and embarrassment around money. And I titled this episode Secrets Don't Heal, because when we hold on to secrets around money, we never overcome them. Whatever that thing is that we feel that we can't speak about, or we can't talk about, or we're too ashamed of or embarrassed of, when we hold that in, that literally eats at us. And it prevents us from fulfilling our life, like our life dreams, our purpose, whatever it is we're here to do, because we are held back by that secret. That secret cannot heal the soul. And sometimes what really is in need of healing when it comes to our money is that soul of us, the energy of us that experienced something early on in childhood where we may have thought that we were unworthy or undeserving of money or resources or whatever it is that we needed. And we carry that soulful wound to the grave. This talk is really going to be about self-worth, that innate belief in our own worthiness, our own deservedness, and how that relates to our outward financial net worth. Stay tuned.
Like what you're hearing so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. How would you describe your relationship with money? Did you ever imagine that your deepest feelings and beliefs about money could be preventing you from acquiring all the wealth that you desire? Click the link below in the show notes to learn more about Dr. Nicholas's highly sought-after Frequency of Money program to positively transform your relationship with money. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
Now, how does our self-worth relate to our outward financial net worth? Well, I believe that we can only have or accrue what we believe we're truly worthy of having or accruing. And so if, let me use an example. Let's just say that I really love these diamond earrings and I see them in the window of a lovely jewelry store, and I really covet these beautiful earrings. And I think they're just gorgeous, and I would love to have them. But sometimes in that same place of thought, in that same moment, I'll believe that I'm not worthy of it, or I'm not deserve it, or I'm not good enough for those earrings, or they're too expensive for me. And so I'll have this conflict within me where I love it and I think it's beautiful and I think I'd love to have it. And I can just imagine myself wearing these beautiful earrings. And then in the other part of me feels unworthy, like they're too good for me or they're too expensive or I could never afford that. And when that happens, we send a mixed signal out to the universe. Yes, that we love it and we'd love to have that, but we also feel unworthy. And so we end up not receiving that which we want. We receive a confusing picture. We may continue to see things that are just beautiful and lovely, but they're just out of reach because of this feeling of unworthiness within us. So I believe that how we truly feel inside about ourselves, how we speak about money, how we speak about the things that we want, affects how our money shows up for us and how things show up for us in our lives. So let's think of another way that that situation could go. Let's say I still see those beautiful earrings and I love them, and I just can imagine the day that I put those in my ears, and I how beautiful I'll feel in those earrings, and how they'll shimmer in the sunlight, and how I'll just feel so incredibly beautiful, what I'll wear them with, all the stuff around this thing that I want. And then I think about the money that I have. I think, oh my gosh, the money isn't there yet. And if I put it that way, that this is something that I want, maybe the money isn't there today, but it will be. I believe that it can be. And someday I will have those earrings. They may be gifted to me. I might say, I may buy them for myself, or there's going to be a special day when I possess these beautiful earrings. That is a whole different energy that you are sending out to the universe. This is an energy of possibility, of love, of gratefulness, of this opportunity to one day possess these beautiful, beautiful earrings. And, exchange this for anything that you're thinking about. You might see a beautiful car driving down the road, and you would love for your butt to be in that seat, for you to be driving that car, for you to own that car. You open your garage and that's yours. It's in your driveway. That's what you pick up your friends or drop off in the carpool or pull up to work, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is, but it's how we approach it. It's how we believe ourselves worthy of it, how we go after it, the signals that we send out to the universe. So one of the things that I talk about is the energy of money, that our money is a form of currency, yes, and we know it's a transactional thing in our society. It's not good or bad. It's just how we exchange value for goods and services. That's it. And we happen to use something called money. And in this money, there's a flow of it. There's an energy of it. It has its own consciousness. Because if you think about it, money is made of usually paper and metal. That's what we form our currencies out of. Sometimes it's just digital, like just a digital currency even. But it has some inherent value, because money, in whatever form it takes, has the value of the consensus. It's the consensus value of that society, of that country, of that system, that financial system. It's the consensus value. It's what we believe it to be worth. But you see, there's a belief inherent in the worth of that physical currency, just as there is a belief in your own worthiness. Again, we have to believe that money is worth something. We all have to believe it. That's called the consensus belief. So we say $1 is worth this. And we've seen in different countries and situations where that value changes, or there's a deflates or inflates based on the beliefs of the economy. It's about really, oh my gosh, this is so much about our beliefs. But our beliefs, I tell you, are powerful because they carry energy. There's an energy in that belief that comes from our heart, that comes from our minds, that comes from our bodies. We embody this belief, and that in itself is energy. So just like the belief in the money is energy, or the belief in anything, the belief in yourself is also energy. And that's why I really go back to these basic tenets of energy, why it's so important for us to make the connection, to connect the dots. If we go back to the most basic tenets of energy that we know on the planet, it really boils down to this very first law of thermodynamics. It's the law of conservation of energy. And that law states that energy is not created nor destroyed by us, but is conserved. It's the law of conservation. And that energy, to change it, to change the belief of that energy, to change the belief in yourself, you must transform it. It must be transformed. It's an energetic play. And so when we don't believe in ourselves, we have a situation where we have believed ourselves unworthy for whatever the reason. Maybe it's our immediate circumstance, or we're remembering a circumstance in the past, or we hear in our minds, we hear someone saying, oh, you're not good enough. We believe somehow in some way we're not good enough. That carries energy, and that must be transformed. So how do we do that? I mean, one of the first questions I got when my Money Consciousness Overcoming Generational Poverty TED Talk went live was a woman from South Africa messaged me through my website and asked about how do we change the cycle of generational poverty? How does she teach her child? She's been doing this inner work to repair her own self-confidence, her own self-worth. How does she do this to her child? How does she convey this to her child? And I said, most importantly, as parents, we have to lead by example. So when we have healed ourselves, we show our children this energy of us, how we relate, how we act, how we believe, how we feel about money. And that is what they, again, feel about money. And so really, it's all about transforming these feelings. And sometimes I think these feelings can be so painful that we don't want to face it. We feel we're not strong enough to face it. Because sometimes there were crimes committed around money. There were shameful situations around money, things that were unspeakable. I had this unspeakableness because of my grandmother was involved in prostitution because we were poor, and we felt that was in some way the only way in that situation. And you can argue, about choices, but this was a belief someone carried in my family about their own self-worth and how to get money to pay the bills and whatnot. And that choice was made. And that had damaging consequences that reverberated out for generations. And so some of this money stuff, I work in this way. I work so much in this way because it is so painful and it's so damaging that sometimes it prevents us from living the life that we deserve, that we want, from fulfilling our dreams. So I think this work is vitally important. It's important to each individual. It's important to the whole of humanity that we get this thing right, because it is not just about the physical money. It is about all of it, about our connections, our purpose, our ideas, our fulfillment, all of it, our health, our wealth. The whole continuum of wealth falls on this idea of our own self-worth, our own innate self-worth. The first step in transforming this is really to uncover the belief, to speak it, to write it, to declare it, to acknowledge it. Because again, secrets do not heal, but the acknowledge of it, bringing awareness to it, speaking it, has the power to heal it. That is the very first part of this, is the acknowledgement. That's why I did my TED. I spoke it so I could be free of it. And then we have the idea of the physical reality and feeling inside. So let's say I make this acknowledgement, but I look at my circumstance and it looks outwardly like I just don't have enough. And there's a feeling associated with it. And I had this feeling before. It's so familiar. Even though the circumstance may be slightly different, the times may have changed, I may have changed, but I feel the same. I feel this energy of lack. I feel like I don't have enough. And in that, I may feel frustrated. I may feel exacerbated, just angry, frustrated, you name it. And that feels like a automatic feeling, like it just comes with the territory. But I am telling you, you have the power within you to feel how you want to feel, meaning that that situation does not have to have power over you once you begin to have awareness of it. And so let's take a real situation, like not having money for the rent. I mean, gosh, we're in this pandemic period, and even outside of the pandemic, but particularly now, businesses have been shuttered. Many have lost their jobs and incomes. There's so much uncertainty. And I believe in some ways we're experiencing this so we know how to be with it, how to be in a place of uncertainty, but come from it from a place of strength, from inner strength. And this comes from your belief in yourself, your belief in the power of the universe, of the source of all creation, or whatever you want to call it, whatever it is that resonates best with you, whatever term that you want to use to call this belief in something higher than yourself, something, the creator of you, the creator of all of it. It's believing that you are loved, that you are supported, that you are fully supported, even if your physical circumstances don't appear that way. And once we begin to have the acknowledgement, and then we have the trust in the universe, we can begin to transform these very dense, heavy emotions that until now have held us back from fulfilling our dreams to living the life that we love and deserve. Season 2, more and more about money, the frequency of money, the energy of it, all of it. I'm also going to bring some speakers on this season. So you have some other perspectives about human consciousness, about the consciousness of money, to finally healing your money situation and healing yourself in the process. Please visit my website at www.susannicholas.org and sign up for a promo code for $1,000 off my Frequency of Money program. This is an evergreen promo code. Use it whenever you are ready to heal your money situation and to heal yourself. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Be Conscious podcast with author, TEDx international speaker, and conscious coach, Dr. Susan Nicholas. Be sure to connect with her to stay up to date with her latest news and works. Learn more about her conscious speaking platform at susannicholas.org/speaking. Stay tuned for the next thought-provoking episode. And whether you are coming or going, looking inside or out, remember to be conscious.